Fashion, turn to the left. Fashion, turn to the right. And what isn't more fashionable than an oversized Cardi? And one that is aptly named Bowie, after the fashion icon David Bowie. Hello fellow nerds, I am Jean, a nerd that knits, and I've always been a huge David Bowie fan. I mean, he did write 2 songs with my name in it. Yes, it is pronounced differently, but I'll take it. So why is David Bowie a fashion icon, and how does it relate to this cardigan in particular? Bowie was an unexpected gender bender, and his sexuality was fluid. He used this part of his life as a creative outlet. If he cared what others thought about him, he never seemed to show it. He would create a persona, ride that creative wave, and then he would create another one. In some ways, he became a queer icon on his own terms. And yes, he has a little bit of mixed feelings when it comes to that, especially if you look at all of his past interviews. So what does this have to do with a knitted rainbow cardigan? Well, isn't there a saying that fine feathers make fine birds? If Bowie was a character in a play, the clothes are the easiest way to transform a person. The face, speech, and manner of talking or even walking might come later. Fashion to him was a vessel. And fashion leaves a mark, just like he left on music, culture, and all the other ways he left on Earth. He left us with a lot, but one point remains strong, one that we should all embrace. I only find freedom in the realms of eccentricity, and that took me a long time just to say, because, that's a lot of vowels. Don't need to buy any more vowels on that word. This might be the only explanation we have to who this man, David Robert Jones, was really like. And then again, perhaps it's just another fragment of another persona. You know, one point that needs to be made. Oversized cardigans are comfy. It feels like a warm hug, especially one made of mohair. I feel that everyone needs a rainbow Cardi. It's happy, bright, and cheerful, and I have also experienced that it gets noticed immediately. Now, I am a June girl. I was born in the month of June. I love June. I love sharing June with the LGBTQIA+ community. And when you wear this sweater in the month of love, June, you know what you're doing. I have lots of family, friends, fellow nerds that are part of this community. I have and I will always be an ally. So I went out to dinner with some friends and family wearing this very beautiful cardigan. To say I was sticking out was obvious. Halfway through dinner with my friends, our server said that a family paid for our drinks. This is a family that was, I guess, really close in the vicinity of where we were sitting. Now, it could have been a multitude of reasons, but I'm going to say that it was the Cardi. I felt like I was like a sea of rainbow in like everyone else that was not wearing color. But how does one find an oversized rainbow cardigan called Bowie? It's kind of random. It seems like a strange Google search, but I would say rather it found me. So we're gonna go back into another story time. I found this company while I was looking for a heavier weight mohair yarn. I don't remember what project it was for, but it led me to finding this particular company. I noticed it had a knitting kits section. Now, I'm not a knitting kits person, so obviously I was very curious, and I wondered what a knitting kits section would look like from a company in the Netherlands, that, you know, what they could come up with. I only know of one other knitting company located in the Netherlands. Hello, Stephen West. But I am a sucker for the words Bowie. Anything Bowie in it, it's like a take my money kind of situation. So I can't claim that I chose the sweater for the colors, because As much as I like the coloring of the cardigan, I was sold on something else. Is it sad that the title sold me? Yes. And it shows that marketing definitely works. So this project was sold as a kit and I got a discount, 10% off for it being my first time purchase. So the kit was $131.40. This didn't include shipping from the Netherlands. And to tell you the truth, I thought it was kind of a steal. And we'll talk about that a little later. So first, the company suggests that this is the perfect beginner project. Now I know that I'm not a beginner, but I would agree with how easy the project is to do. The only part that I struggled with was determining what size to make it. I mean, I did make it the biggest it could go. I mean, why? I mean, like, why not? I mean, it is oversized for a reason. Mainly because I found it was so hard to determine what a smaller size would look like. There are very few projects on Ravelry for this project, and that being said, I'm glad I went big because this thing is hella comfy. I also think that the price for the kit is quite affordable compared to finding 12 balls of DK weight mohair. I looked it up and I think some companies have a DK weight mohair for $12 a skein, and if you're thinking $12 a skein for those many colors, I think the kit ends up being much cheaper. Granted, I'm sure you could get 2 balls of lace weight, hold them together, but I personally don't like holding 2 strands together. It's just a personal preference for me. So upon wearing this sweater, I was hanging out with a good friend and he loved the sweater and he was eyeing it up. I told him it's a pretty easy design and it could be modified for his size. So if you fear that the sweater isn't big enough, it is pretty easy to change. I was also thinking about sizing one down for my daughter. Because who doesn't love a rainbow? It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's perfect, and it doesn't have to mean any of these connotations that people think it has to mean. It's just a rainbow, and it's beautiful and it's gorgeous. But what you really want to know is how did the pattern knit up? Because that's a part of why you're here. So let's knit this ish up. This sweater has old school construction, which makes it easy to knit up. The one thing I don't like about older construction is that all the pieces have to be knitted up and then sewn together. You can't get a feel for how it's fitting or how it will look until it's finally constructed. It is kind of the downside of doing a back, a front, an arm, which is exactly how this particular pattern is constructed. This is also a problem with size. You might make the entire sweater in a particular size and it just ends up being too big or small. I feel that a different construction like a top down would give you more control, but a top down is not a beginner level pattern. So there is a reason why this is constructed this way and it says beginner level at the top. And then there is the mohair problem. Unknitting mohair is a nightmare, or perhaps my nightmare. The mohair acts like Velcro. I really hate unknitting mohair, especially if it's unknitting mohair from other mohair. Those fibers love sticking together, and when I say Velcro, I do mean Velcro. I did think about adding edging and adding buttons, but I decided against that. I also want to add some more additional details to the sweater to give it more of a Bowie flair, but I didn't have the time for that. But perhaps that the next evolution of the sweater, like Bowie, he kept on evolving. Perhaps this is the fate of the sweater too. Meaning I will be adding extra details to this sweater, so please be on the lookout when I do include them. Maybe I'll put it in a short, I'm just not sure yet. Final thoughts. If you have been sitting on the fence, wanting to make your first sweater and you're afraid, then this is the kit for you. It knits up extremely fast and it is a statement. You're knitting on size 15 needles and mohair, it just goes like by that. I mean, the only part that kind of sucks about it is you might mess up and you might have to unravel mohair, and that's a problem. But Can you do this sweater in a solid color? Of course. But what would be the fun in that? I mean, are you looking at this and you're like, oh, but I'm a crocheter. This company also has sweater crocheting kits, and I really had a fun time making this sweater. I'm probably gonna say the company wrong, so I'm just gonna put it here because I don't want to slaughter anything. It is a knitting company out of the Netherlands. The colors are vibrant, they're beautiful, the sweaters are amazing. I think that I will probably be making another kit from this company just because the yarn is so affordable in the amounts that you're looking for. And the colors, I absolutely love the colors of the sweater. There's sometimes where I'm like, whoa, that's a really bright pink, or whoa, that's a neon yellow. But that's what's fun about this particular kit. So please look at all the other kits. They're just as fun. Maybe not as, you know, as beautiful as the Bowie. It's such a really great company that really shows you that, you know, anyone can make these sweaters. And if you're really afraid, like, oh no, I might fail, they do have a couple of videos that you, when you're putting the sweater together. So there's a couple of other like materials that you can go through. And I really encourage you. It's such a great pattern. It's such a great company. The shipping's $28, but you know, what shipping isn't really expensive these days. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked listening about David Bowie. You know, he is a queer icon. Does he have his, you know, his downsides? Does he, you know, he's only human. He did help, you know, kind of bring our, you know, another level of who we are and what we are and what we might evolve or de-evolve into. So he's a very interesting figure, and he really did push the boundaries. Still love the man, even though sadly he passed away. And just once again, happy June, happy Pride, and as always, happy knitting, happy crocheting, and please like, comment, and subscribe.